What is going on, everybody? How we doing? Welcome back to the Georgia Meth Show, you guys. It is Wednesday. We're back. We got a lot of news to talk about, a lot of things that broke out throughout the week. Yesterday, in specific, Tuesday, the 9th, um, it's pretty heartbreaking. Not heartbreaking, but pretty disappointing with what I got to talk about. But we're going to get into that in just a second. Hope everyone's doing well, staying humble, staying blessed, and staying positive. Today, we got many things to talk about, from Edwin Diaz going to the Dodgers. Like, what the hell is that? We also got Kyle Schwarber going back to the Phillies. Damn. We'll talk a little bit about Kyle Tucker, where I'm predicting, my final prediction, where he'll go. And we'll finish off a little bit with some Chiefs. And the Usos are back in the tag team division. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about that in just a little second. But let's get into it. As you guys know, we do our positive vibe spread. This is the word for today, or the motivation for today. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to do what you love, what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. That is from Mr. Steve Jobs, ladies and gentlemen. That is basically saying, do what you love in life. You only got it once. You might as well find something that you do work that you love. Because, like he said, we work 90% of our lifetime is where we're working, because that's where we're able to succeed and do the things that we want to do with the pay. So finding something that you really enjoy to do every day, and waking up at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning to go do what you love, that's really good. Many people don't have that opportunity. So while you're young, find it. Find something that you love to do and that you enjoy and you aspire to go to every single day, to go to work and do it, because life is a big part of our world. You might as well find something that you enjoy. That is today's quote. Let's get started. So you guys already know the first topic we're going to talk about. Edwin Diaz has signed a 3-year deal worth $69 million with the Los Angeles Dodgers. God damn it, Mets. God damn it, Mets. What are we doing, man? What the hell are we doing? And I get it. I understand. I get it. He didn't even come back to you for the $3 million in difference that you offered him compared to the Dodgers. But god damn it, Mets. Like, we can't lose an elite closer that has proven that he can pitch here like that. We can't do that, especially to the Dodgers. The Dodgers is the last team that you want to lose players from, because that's what you have to go through to win the big one. Every single year, that's going to be the team, unless they just get injuries and blow up. That's the team that you got to go through to win the big one. They've won it back to back. And they're full of all-stars, from Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshi Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Teoscar. And you let Edwin Diaz go over there, which the number one problem they had, literally the number one problem they had, was that bullpen was an issue. And look at who they added now. Edwin freaking Diaz. I'm trying to personally, I'm not going to speak on that yet, but wow, from a $3 million difference. Now, I get it. Apparently, Diaz was upset because the Mets never informed him that they were going to sign Devin Williams. Hey, to be fair, Diaz, because you got to look at both ways. Listen, you were a free agent. You opted out. So you chose to go your own route. They technically don't have to inform you. You went to a free agent. That's the thing. So I'm just like, wow. A $3 million difference, he goes to the Dodgers. And then it's like, god damn it, dude, the Dodgers. Because, it's like, fuck, that's the team you got to go through every year to win the big one. And you're just making it more difficult. Diaz was somebody that I know I said at first we shouldn't want to pay that much for a closer, but for the time, the length of the contract and the money, it is not bad. 3 years, that's not bad. If it was 5, then we would have had a different conversation. But 3 years low key isn't bad. And he's proven to you that he can pitch here multiple times well. Devin hasn't done that. Devin had almost a 5 ERA. This guy had a 1.63 ERA. And we let him go. We let him go. Like, that is embarrassing. I don't understand what the hell we got going on. But let's continue. So, the deal comes after, obviously, he opted out of the remainder of his prior contract with the Mets. The move obviously gives the Dodgers one of the game's top closers, probably top 3, maybe the best, between probably him, Chapman, and Hader. What does this mean? So the Dodgers, fixed the primary problem like we spoke. They got a closer. Obviously, that was an issue that they had a lot, was bullpen. But what does Diaz bring to the Dodgers? What is something, why they wanted him, why they went out and got him? Obviously, a proven elite closer. Like I said, he posted up a 1.63 ERA with 28 saves and 31 chances in 2025, striking out 98 batters over 66 and a half innings. He's among probably the best relievers in baseball. Obviously, that, like I said, they were fixing a glaring bullpen weakness that's one of the problems the Dodgers had. The biggest problem was their bullpen struggled. They had a combined 4.27 ERA and blew multiple saves opportunity. Obviously, them bringing Diaz in and replacing that now adds very stability and makes it very smoother for David Roberts and everybody in the postseason. Now, the Dodgers obviously, have gone back to back, pitching. They got strong pitchers now. Bullpen has been boosted, locked down ninth inning. Listen, and they're committed to win. That's why I don't understand why people are so upset that the Dodgers are spending money. They want to win. What do you expect? They want to win, and that's exactly what you should do every single time. But folks don't listen. You got to do what you got to do to come win. So, like I said, 3 years, $698 million. Obviously, that makes him the top reliever paid AAV value wise, and shows that the Dodgers are going for it again. That they want to win. But like I said, why does this matter overall for the Dodgers? It matters for them because they added Diaz, great closer. Their biggest problem was their bullpen. Obviously, that solves a lot of the issue, and it makes it more of a stable core for them, especially now in the playoffs. So, like I said, look, I'm very disappointed in the Mets. This is not something that we should have let walk. I'm sorry. I get it. I said a couple weeks ago, listen, we should not be trying to go and spend that much money on a closer. But how friendly the contract is, only 3 years, we got to do better. We have to do better. By the time he finishes with the Dodgers, he's going to be 34. 34 years old. And it's like I said, he's proven to you that he can pitch well here at an elite level. At an elite level. And we choose to let him go to the Dodgers. The freaking Dodgers. Like, this is a 3-time All-Star. Mariano Rivera reliever award winner. 2-time often reliever award winner. He posted up a 3.0 WAR with a whip of 0.874. And we let him walk. We let him walk, ladies and gentlemen. Now, his projected that Baseball Reference has him at this upcoming season now is 15 saves, a 3.29 ERA with 63 innings pitched, and a whip of 1.11. So they have his numbers declining a little bit. They have him striking out 78 hitters and walking 22. So I think this is going to work well for the Dodgers. I think at the beginning he'll probably be a little bit rough. But then as time goes by, he gets more of a flow of things. I think it's going to be shut out. I'm very disappointed because I'm personally trying to figure out what the hell do we got going on. Because I see David Stern's interviews and all that, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell is his mindset. What is his vision for this team? Because right now, as we stand, if we put this team right now on this field, they're worse than what they were last year or last season, whatever. They're worse. So I'm personally trying to figure out what in the blue hell is going on through David Stern's head, because we're not getting better. That's the whole point of a freaking offseason and for free agency and trades, is to get better, work on your improvements, and we're just getting worse. We traded Brandon Nimmo for a 35-year-old second baseman just because he plays elite defense at second base, for crying out loud. It's not like we're talking about third or short. Second base. When we already had like 3 other second basemen. So we get rid of him to get somebody who sucks in offense, which is what we need, because nobody seems to hit the freaking ball unless their name was Pete, Lindor, or Soto. So you decline in offense to go get defense at second base. You let go of Diaz for Devin Williams, who had posted up a 5 ERA with the Yankees. So off to a rough start. You basically let go of elite for good. What the hell are we doing? We're not getting better at all. And then we're just signing scraps to the bullpen. Literally scraps on minor league deals. What do we have going on? We're not getting better. That's the issue. We're not getting better, and we're not looking at it like the bigger picture, because there's no really bigger picture. It's not like you can say, oh, shoot, we're waiting on this big prospect to come up. That's why we got Marcus Semien. And then the money and the years. Guys, we got to understand. We have the richest owner in baseball. We got to cut all that bullshit out. That was another reason why we got rid of Nimmo, because of money and all that. We got to cut that bullshit out. Because if our rivals are winning because they're spending money, then we got to do the same shit too. Dodgers won back-to-back World Series, and they have the biggest payroll in the damn freaking sport. So that proves to you got to spend to win the goddamn big one. So we got to lock the hell in, because this is freaking embarrassing. We're getting worse. We're literally just getting worse day by day. And then also, another thing that I'm going to say, because this is getting spreaded around a lot, and it looks like it may be accurate. If I'm Steve Cohen, and maybe David Stearns, what the hell is going on in that damn clubhouse? Literally, I would really want to know what is going on in that clubhouse. We got a so-called person that they want to name captain in Lindor, who's been brought up and multiple times now, where he has issues with players in the locker room. Juan Soto and McNeil. Like, what we got going on in there? It doesn't seem, and then, people are saying it doesn't seem like it was a very friendly club environment. To where, compared, when you look at our rivals, like the Dodgers, they all speak very highly of each other and very highly about the clubhouse. Especially when Mookie Betts is doing interviews with everybody. So what the hell are we doing? It seems like we got a bunch of people with egos in that shit, and then just people that don't get along. It'd be one thing if we were winning, but we're freaking losing. Y'all got to straighten that shit out. Y'all are grown-ass men to be acting like freaking children. And that so-called captain that they want to name, he got to step shit up too. Because the fact that his name gets brought up and shit, got to stop that bullshit. If it's false, then okay, it's a different story. But it's been brought up multiple times now. Lindor have with an issue arguing with somebody in the locker room. That shit's not acceptable, dude, if you want to become a captain. That's not how a leader works. So that's the thing. We got to clean shit up, because that could be partial to the reason why these freaking players are leaving. $3 million difference, literally. They offered him 69, we offered him 66. His brother's over there, I get that. His brother was like, hey, this is a great environment. Everybody gets along very well with each other. And it's been said multiple times by multiple people on the clubhouse. So maybe it's accurate. But we got to clean that shit up, because this is freaking embarrassing. We didn't even make the playoffs, and it's not like we're getting better. We're getting worse. All right, let's continue on to a division rival who has continued to get better, which was, I think, a player that we should have gotten, but I don't know what the hell we're doing. Kyle Schwarber, you guys, has gone back to the Phillies on a 5-year, $150 million contract. So obviously, we all know Kyle Schwarber is one of the elite lefty hitters right now with elite power at his age at the moment. He finished second runner-up to Ohtani and MVP, had a monstrous season, 56 home runs, 102 RBIs, and an OPS of 928. He did phenomenal. But how could I put it to you? Obviously, this locks him through his age 37 season. He's looks like he'll be long term there. He'll probably be there now for a good while with the Phillies. He's currently 32 years old, so 5 years got him till 37. How will this contract work out? I think it'll work out pretty well for the next, I want to say, 3 years. I don't think he'll be posting up 56 home runs every year, but I would say 25 to 30 you could look at from Kyle Schwarber, especially at DH. I think he'll still be with that kind of power till 35. Maybe 36, 37 is a coin toss. You may have like 15, 20, maybe injuries. Hopefully not, but maybe get involved. But hey, like I said, they brought back a great hitter, former MVP, Silver Slugger, 3-time All-Star, 2016 World Series champion. Had a great year, had a 4.7 WAR with 56 home runs, 240 batting average, 132 RBIs, on-base percentage of 365, slugging 563, OPS of 928, and OPS plus of 150. So Kyle Schwarber did phenomenal for the Phillies. Good lefty. Great signing to bring him back. Might as well. Like I said, finished runner-up. How this helps the Phillies, obviously, is keeps, stability in the lineup. Obviously, power, the culture, the fear factor with him. And listen, he remains one of the feared hitters. The dude has got some crazy power. And, them bringing him back 5 years, $30 million a year. Hey, that's not bad. Kyle Schwarber, he went out. He deserved it. He did what he had to do. Now, they have him projected for next year is 40 home runs, 98 RBIs, batting average is 231, slugging 501, OPS 853. So they have his numbers declining a little bit, but still pretty good. 40 home runs, that's still good for a 33-year-old. Look, great signing, I would give it to them. He deserves it. He deserved that contract. He played his ass off. Obviously, that helps the Phillies out now a lot more. And bringing him back, like I said, I personally wanted him for the Mets because I thought that would have been a great addition to the lineup because we need offensive, we need some power, especially if we got Pete walks. That's going to be the question now. Who do we go out and get if Pete Alonso walks? Because this was the guy that was probably had this equivalent amount of power or maybe more than Pete. So that's going to be interesting. It's just at the end of the day, it helps them out. They obviously got a little bit more work to do with the starting pitching. And the Phillies are obviously looking to be competitive. They won the division. They obviously want to continue being competitive. So they started off really well, bringing back Kyle Schwarber. Now, me also thinking, that was interesting from the Pirates because they offered him, 4 years, I think 120, and he chose to go to the Phillies. Now, let's be real. We all know why. It's because, Pirates aren't winning. And I get they want to put winning stars around them, but listen, the Pirates are not going to spend. People need to cut that out of, they're going to be interested in this guy, this guy, this guy. They do not want to win. They're just going to – we obviously see that many, many seasons now. Now, all of a sudden, they want to add winning players for Paul Skeens. No, sir. They're not really interested in that, to be honest with you, in winning. They've proved it many, many times, and it's been bad blood with money over there. They literally will take you out of the game so you don't get a bonus. That's petty. So it was interesting. Now with them, I feel like me listening to the Mets were interested. I feel like that was a money play, or not a money play. I feel like that was he wanted to go back to the Phillies, Kyle, but he was trying to use the Mets as a leverage so then the Phillies boasted up their cachet. I think personally, because 4 years, 120, that's not too bad for compared to what the Phillies offered. So I'll give them props. But listen, For 150 million for a guy like Kyle Schwarber, that's a good deal. That's all I will say. Good job by the Phillies. That was awesome. Now, let's talk about probably the number one free agent in the market currently, Kyle Tucker. Where I think he's going, what's going on with him currently. So Tucker, like I said, one of the top free agent outfielders on the market right now. Multiple teams, including the Toronto Blue Jays and the Yankees, have been linked to him as possible landing spots. He reportedly visited the Blue Jays facility recently. Why he's not a hot commodity? Why are you not hearing him talk many like conversations about him? You're probably hearing more about like Kyle Schwarber, to Scaball and everybody. Despite a few bumps, injuries, and a bit of a slump playing home games at a tough park, Tucker still shows top-tier skills, power, speed, and on-base agility. Overall, offensive upside and a 5.2 potential. At 28, turning 29 soon, he still wants to be considered in his prime years, meaning a long-term deal for many clubs could make sense. Um, so here's what I'm thinking, where I think Kyle Tucker is going to go. I personally think Kyle Tucker is going to go to the Toronto Blue Jays. I think the Toronto Blue Jays, we've obviously seen them now the last two past off seasons, maybe three, but I think two. They've obviously wanted to go after the big free agents. You know, we saw last season they wanted to go after Juan Soto. Then we saw the year before that we saw they wanted Shohei Ohtani. I think Kyle Tucker will be the guy that they go out and get. And obviously, they want a big free agent. They want to win. They want to continue winning. They just made it to the World Series, obviously, lost to the Dodgers. But they play their asses off. Adding a guy like Kyle Tucker just boosts up your chances even more. And listen, I'm firm on I think he will go to the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's why. He gives Toronto the lefty-handed power bat that they've been missing. The Blue Jays lineup has been very right-handed heavy throughout the years with Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Kirk, Springer, etc. Obviously, Tucker coming in, he would balance out the offense. And obviously, he would fill a massive need in the outfield. The Jays have had a revolving door of outfield issues. George Springer obviously aging, becoming more of a corner / DH now. Kevin Kiermaier is gone. And they really don't have no long-term everyday right fielder locked in, which was one of the reasons why they probably wanted Juan Soto. So I would say that. And they need a star outfielder. That's the bottom line. Kyle Tucker obviously is going to provide them lefty power, outfield defense, prime age. He's young, a long-term star to build around apart from Guerrero, and a light-up threat that simply they don't have right now. And obviously, like I said, they want to go back to the World Series. So getting a guy like Kyle Tucker will be very good for them. It will help their chances way much more. And at the same time, too, I will say, hey, his contract's not going to be as heavy as like a Juan Soto or like a Shohei Ohtani. He's projected to get like $400 million. Not too bad. You'll probably pay him a little bit less than what you did with Vlad, but hey, like I said, this is a 4-time All-Star, 2022 World Series champion, a former Gold Glove, and a 2-time Silver Slugger. So this year he had like a bit of a type season, even though his numbers on paper don't look too bad. He had a 4.6 WAR with 22 home runs, a batting average of 266, 73 RBIs, 25 stolen bases, an OPS of 841, and an OPS plus of 143. So he's 43 points over, the average, the batter. They have him projected for next season is 23 home runs, 73 RBIs, a batting average of 273 with an OPS of 866. So, look, he had a down year a little bit. Let's be real. He had a bit of a down year. He hasn't really been the same like how he was in 2023. But, look, I think he could help them out a lot. I think the Blue Jays need to go out, get the big one. This is a big fish. Go out and get him. You've been wanting them for the last 2 off seasons. Right here is your chance, literally. And he's going to help you out, boost up your chances. And he's young, too. He's about to turn 29, literally. So get him on your team. You want to win it. You got a big opportunity again to go back. Go out and get him. You brought Dylan Cease in already, so you're showing that you want to continue on. Doing this solidifies it. That's all I will say. All right, so a player that I wanted that I thought us as Mets fans, as a Mets, we should have gone out and got instead of going out to get Marcus Semien. Ketel Marte is on the trade block, ladies and gentlemen. It has been reported that the Diamondbacks are listening to offer trades for Marte. According to recent reports, there has been at least a 50-50 chance that Marte could be moved this season. And then there's been multiple teams, obviously, that are interested in him, including the Blue Jays, the Phillies, the Rays, the Red Sox, have been reportedly checking about his availability. Despite the interest, the Diamondbacks front office seems hesitant to actually trade him. The general manager publicly described Marte as a most unlikely. Nothing, Marte remains one of their best players. Part of the reason hesitant early in 2025, they gave him a long-term extension through 2020 or 2031. So it also includes a limit no trade clause. So factors pushing against the trade. Why the deal may not happen is the long-term control and the favorable contract. He has a very friendly contract. It's not too bad. He's still one of the top, performers. Marte hit a 283 batting average with 28 home runs and 72 RBIs in 2025. And then the team's reputation and the fan backlash risk probably because, you have two division rivals, maybe three that are trying to get better, and you letting go of like a superstar may not help out. So, what a trade for Marte would most likely look like if done. Because the Dodgers are needing, I said the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks needing pitching this offseason, most likely probably want pitching back. Probably like an MLB starter with a good prospect. They want probably pitching heavy in return. Which, look, Phillies got that. To be honest, the Phillies have that. Blue Jays maybe, possibly. But here's what I'll say. Ketel Marte, I don't think they'll trade him. I thought this was a guy that we should have went out and got. Would have filled in a need at second base. Very friendly team contract. But we chose not to. And then we had what the Diamondbacks were looking for. That's why I'm so disappointed that we went and got Marcus Semien. Talking about the Mets, by the way. I don't think Ketel Marte is going to get traded unless the offer is really good. Just because the Diamondbacks they still want to continue winning. And you got to understand, your division is very hard. You got the best team in the league in that division. And if you want to continue winning, you got to step up, literally. Because if not, you're just going to fall behind. Very simple. And they got to do something. They finished one game behind the Giants. So they finished off in fourth place. And they declined, honestly, this year. They declined. Obviously, the year prior to that, they had finished in third place, had not made the playoffs. Or they did, I think. They made the playoffs and then got eliminated by the Dodgers, I believe. They finished off 89 and 73. And then the year prior to that, in 2023, they finished off in second place. So they got a chance to continue winning. They just got to get more pieces to connect together to at least get a chance to finish off second place and make the playoffs. So I don't think he'll get traded. I think it will be a very slim chance. But who knows? Maybe they get aggressive and, maybe a team offers them really a good thing that they can't, decline, literally. So we'll see. I don't think so, but who knows? You never know now. So, the Chiefs, you guys, onto some football here, have been eliminated from the AFC division. So, the Chiefs have been in a bit of a, how could I put it? They just didn't have a good season this year. They lost the AFC West after winning the division for 9 straight seasons. The Chiefs are now out of the contention for 2025, eliminated after a 2010 loss to the Houston Texans. The record is under 500, 6-7, which puts them unfamiliar territory for this era of Chiefs football. They can't win close games in prior years. The Chiefs thrived in tight one-score games. In 2025, they dropped nearly all of them. But why are they struggling? Their key weaknesses and mistakes. Offensive issues and inconsistency. The pass game has been very shaky. Drops and turnovers have cost them. And their offense have often stalled in high-pressure situation. Poor offensive line and protection problems. Understaffed lineups and injuries have led to increase in pressure on the quarterback and distribution timing. Defense isn't stepping up reliably. Their defense had trouble getting off the field and third downs and isn't generating enough pressure when blitzing. A dramatic change from the previous form. Penalties and mistakes in shaky situations, play calling, self-inflicted wounds, drop passes, penalties, and failed fourth down attempts have killed the drive and momentum. Um, but the bigger picture that a lot of people have been talking about is the dynasty crumbling. Many analysts have been interpreting that is an end of an era, that the once dominant Chiefs model with Mahomes, Kelsey, and Andy Reid is leading to some serious structural issues. The decline hasn't been about bad luck, it's systematic. Lack of dependent depth and inability to adapt has exposed various situations. So, listen, I think that comes to an issue of wanting to play the cheap game. I think that comes to not wanting to spend and go out and get the pieces you need to go out and get. We obviously saw some of the issues that they had, and I get it. Okay, I understand. They got their ass whooped by the Eagles, and we were like, hey, they were missing so and so and so and so and so and so. But we've been saying it now for a little while. The Chiefs, after they let go of Tyreek Hill, they were missing that elite number one receiver. That was the biggest problem. And we also got to understand that while that was going on, where they were missing that elite receiver, Kelsey's age is just going up, and he was their elite, offensive player. So he's just getting older. We got to understand there's more body wear and tear in his body. So instead of addressing that issue, it was never addressed. And then you decided, the running game. We obviously saw Pacheco has declined tremendously. You've decided to go with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt as your running backs when you had probably many opportunities last year or last offseason to go out and get maybe a Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry or maybe, somebody that wouldn't cost you that much if you don't want to spend. But you had opportunities. You had opportunities with receivers. Cooper Kupp was out there. Devontae Adams was out there. And you chose not to. So it's like you weren't really trying to improve with what you needed. You didn't try to put Band-Aids, or you try to put Band-Aids on your wounds instead of putting, trying to fix the problem. That was the issue. They were going out to get scraps instead of getting, a big piece to help out. But is it an end of an era? I guess so. We'll see what they got to do, because obviously they got to go with a whole different mindset this offseason, and see what they do. Now, I did see Rich Paul talk about Mahomes going to he would want him to go to the Cowboys. Why? That would be horrible for the game if he goes to the Dallas Cowboys. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let's wrap this up here, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Usos are back as a tag team. Love to see that. I think it was time that you get them back together. I think, as single runs for Jey Uso, it's been, his time has come up. Obviously, they have a different picture, with Braun Breaker, Gunther, let's say Roman Reigns, AJ Styles probably eventually with his retirement next year. You got Brock, you got Logan Paul, you got many people there. I think you got to bolster up the tag team division, especially on Raw a little bit. So obviously, I think that was great. They're targeting obviously their old rivalry, the New Day. We'll see how that ends up, and they want the gold. They want the tag team championship. So we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Like I say every single time, stay humble, stay blessed, stay positive, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.